Well, this morning on KXAN News Today, we're monitoring the effects of all the heavy rain that fell overnight.
And lightning strikes overnight. A look at the viewer photos that you sent in. We also have some videos, and we're going to check out the damage too.
Also, taking a live look outside right now to see how your roadways are doing. So we're going to monitor the wet conditions for your morning commute.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to KXAN News Today. Hope you got some sleep. I'm Sally Hernandez.
I'm Brian Sanders, bottom of the hour now at 5:30. Weather and traffic together all morning long with Mark and Amanda. And how are we looking today after everything last night?
It was a wild day yesterday and overnight last night, but things have really settled down for us this morning. So your morning commute, if you don't run into any water-covered roadways, by the way, if you do, make sure you turn around. Never know how deep that water is. If you don't, though, it shouldn't be that tough of a drive in early this morning. Certainly a lot calmer than our drive home was yesterday afternoon. Viper radar picking up on dry skies across all of central Texas to start off the day today. And as we progress into the afternoon, well, the chance for rain returns, but we won't be looking at nearly the amount of heavy rain that we saw yesterday. Just a few spotty showers here and there, possibly one or two isolated thunderstorms later in the day. No severe weather expected this afternoon, but it will be much cooler. So with the umbrellas, with a 60% chance for rain today, also take the light jacket as highs will only make it to 64 degrees. Now, it was beneficial rainfall, but it was damaging in some spots. Sophia Beausoleil live for us this morning, monitoring the flash flooding that we saw across parts of Austin. Sophia?
Good morning, Matt, Mark. And if you have amazing pictures like we've been looking at all morning long, send it to reportit@kxan.com. Please always be careful when you do so. Mandy, how are roadways looking?
Roadways are pretty quiet, Sophia. As of right now, we do have minor slow and go building and shaking out, something we see usually every morning. Those roads are slick, though. You heard Sophia say it. If you ever come across water still standing on the roads, make sure to turn around. Don't drown. Taking a closer look now at some of that slow and go we were just talking about, southbound 183, still watching this spot in particular. Traffic picking up just a bit, moving to about 50 miles per hour there, but already delays building early this Wednesday morning. And then northbound I-35 here, as you move into Pflugerville, you can see traffic almost at a stop and go at Howard Lane. 27 miles per hour right there, shakes out the closer you move into Round Rock. But again, you're going to really see those brake lights as you hit Howard. As we take our TxDOT camera now, we're sitting at I-35 at 51st Street this morning, keeping a close watch on this spot because it is so tricky, and we can see that there's still some water drying out on the roadways. Make sure to drive safely, take your time, and plan accordingly. We'll see you back here in only 10 minutes for another check of your traffic.
Thank you. We're getting in some video and pictures into the newsroom from you, the viewer, about the impact of those storms. And we've seen some high water rescues. We've seen lightning and a lot of hail.
And here's the aftermath after hail rained down with the storms out in the hill country. Marble Falls took the hardest hit. The Insurance Council of Texas reports golf ball sized hail damaged more than 1,000 vehicles, pounded rooftops, and broke throughout the city. The Johnson Sewell Ford Lincoln dealership out there had 400 vehicles damaged from the hail, and the ice rocks blew out the windows of at least 2 Burnett County Sheriff Patrol cars. And then in nearby Kingsland, as you can see, large accumulations of the hail gave the area a snowy, wintry look.
The storms moved to the east, and Bastrop County was hit with flash flooding. This is video that we got in from Sarah Pauley in Smithville, showing the water in the front yard along Bishop Street. The water there, she saw levels going down, and so did we somewhat when we got there just to look at the damage, but we know the ground is still very saturated, so any more rain on top of that, and you could see more flooding.
We've also learned one man was taken to the hospital after being struck by lightning. The good news is Austin firefighters expect him to be okay. When KXAN cameras arrived at Mopac and William Cannon in South Austin, we found crews putting him into the ambulance. Authorities tell us he was on the trail area behind the Arbor Trails Shopping Center when he was hit and shocked. Officials say he was alert and breathing. We will continue to check on his condition a little bit later on today. Our weather coverage and the effect of the storms can have on you at home and on your way to work this morning. Continue with us all morning long. You can also find traffic updates, viewer weather photos, and your forecast for the day ahead on KXAN.com.
Your time check right now is 5:35, and today the Texas House will get a chance to look at a bill that would increase the penalty for drivers who leave the scene of a crash. Senate Bill 275 passed yesterday, and that bill would make leaving the scene of a crash with injuries a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 20 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Senator Kirk Watson is the main author of that bill, and Bart Griffin, the father of the late Courtney Griffin, helped to push it. Gabrielle Nastandi was recently sentenced for criminally negligent homicide for hitting and killing Courtney in West Austin 2 years ago. Nastandi left the scene of that crash.
The Senate Committee on Economic Development will address changes to the state's major event trust fund today. A bill outlines new criteria for events to qualify for the fund. Among the changes, the state comptroller would not be allowed to consider another application for the same event before a post-event study is complete. Also, the comptroller may reduce the amount of the grant awarded if attendance is severely less than projected. This follows last November's Formula One race that drew a lot of criticism about how the state awarded fund money. Texas awarded Formula One organizers $25.3 million from the Major Event Trust Fund. The event was expected to draw 96,000 fans from outside Texas, but according to the Circuit of the Americas, drew roughly 70,000. The comptroller's office is still in the process of conducting the post-event study of that race. The House Committee on Higher Education is looking at creating a statewide task force to address sexual assaults on college campuses around the state. That will also be the focus of a Take Back the Night rally on UT's main mall tonight. So if you do the crime, you do the time. That's the saying, even in Texas schools.
But is the punishment for skipping school a little too severe? If you're a student and you skip school frequently, you can go to court. You can pay big fines, and in some cases, you can go to jail if you don't pay up. And parents, this also applies to you. But Senator John Whitmire wants to replace those criminal penalties with a system of steps progressively getting stricter and including warning letters, behavior, contracts, and community service.
Ticketing for truancy. You know, kid doesn't come to school, he gets a $500 ticket. Sometimes they'll ticket his parent as well.
The proposal has received criticism from some school administrators whose job performance ratings are often connected to test scores and dropout rates.
Well, it is National Walking Day, which is a push from the American Heart Association to get people moving. They're encouraging everyone to spend at least 30 minutes a day walking to improve circulation and lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels. But you may want to find somewhere undercover or indoors to walk today because it's going to be a little messy outside.
Yeah, another day full of scattered rainfall. Not as bad as we saw yesterday, no doubt about that.